You got your sets, you got your reps, but what the hell are they good for, and why do you gotta train each way? How do you know what weight you should be using? Today, on the Iron Palace, I'm going to teach you how to build a palace of gains, and we're going to cover all the rep ranges, how you need to hit them, why it's important, how to select your weight, and how to get the maximal result on any weight training program you're doing, no matter what it is, for whatever goal you got. I'm Ryan Milton, and this is Iron Palace every single Tuesday. We're coming to you right here to teach you how to build a palace out of those gains. Please make sure you subscribe, and if you get anything out of the episode, please share it, because that's why I do this, just to help you all get further along with your goals, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, alright? So let's dig in. What's the issue in the first place? One of the most common questions that I ever get, alright, is, hey, what weight do I use for this 8 rep? What weight do I use for the 12 rep? What weight do I use for the 10 rep, and the 6 rep, and the 4 rep, and what should I be doing? How do I know if I'm using the right weight? So many questions come up about weight, okay, and like what you should be doing on whatever lift, and in reality, I can never tell anyone the answer to this. I can't say, hey, you know what, you should actually be using the 15s instead of the 10s on that lift, because that's not how it works. You can't make a generic metric for how people should be using the weight, because every single person's body is different. Every single person's strength level is different. Every single person's ability to do each individual exercise with different form and whatnot is different. So if they're all different, then in reality, all we have in front of us is a number and then some weights, and then you got to figure out how to match it to those weights. So I always go into this long spiel with all my clients, all my athletes, like, all right, here's how you do it, here's how you select the weight. So today, I figured, why not just break it down for all of you, kind of cover this for you so you understand how to be hitting each rep, how to be hitting each, weight, and actually getting the maximal amount out of your training, okay? So, when we're talking about rep ranges, we're looking at a few different things. We got to look at what each rep range is and what it's going to train, and for what purpose are we doing specific rep ranges. So, in other words, you got to be following a program, okay? Don't be doing some random, whatever, everything's 10 reps, everything's 12 reps, everything. It shouldn't be that way if you're following an actual program with a specific goal. When I go design a program, when any of my coaches on TeamFFLEX, we go design a program, what we're doing is we're looking at your goal, and then we're setting up your program in prioritization of what lifts you need to be doing, what rep ranges you need to be doing, and for what end game goal. In reality, we're reverse engineering where you want to be. We're taking it back here and putting the steps in place that you need to take to get to that result. And that's exactly what you have to do if you want to get an actual result. If you're following a random Google search program, or you're doing your buddy's program from the gym because you're too lazy to pay for a coach or something, I strongly suggest you stop wasting your damn time, because anything that you're getting that's generic, anything you're doing that's copycat, some of one of these fucking ebook programs and whatnot, they come up, they're not beneficial. Every single person is individual. Your goals are also individual. How your body's going to respond to training is also individual. So if it's all individual, the only way to actually get results is to have something set up, but guess what? It's individual, it's custom. You gotta have a custom training program, a custom nutrition program. So first things first, if you're serious, go to TeamFFLEX.com and do a free trial right now, and we'll show you how to train for your goals, whatever it is, it's free. Don't be crazy, just go do that, alright? Next, you gotta make sure that once you got that program in place, you understand what each rep range is doing. Alright, so I'm going to break down a couple for you. Here's the general sense. Let's say we start with a 6 repper. Okay, so 6 reps is what we call a heavy rep range. We're training more the strength and the power of whatever movement we are doing in 6 rep range, okay? So a 6 rep range is not ideal for building muscle, because it is a power, it is a strength type of a rep range. Anything below 6, so we're talking 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all working in that strength rep range, okay? Remember that. You're getting stronger training there. More specifically working the power, more specifically working on the strength. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a 1 rep max attempt, that's not going to make you build muscle. It doesn't matter if you're doing a 3 rep attempt, that's not going to make you build muscle. In a 6, we're getting closer, but you're still mainly working on your strength. This is where we build the power. This is where we build, the strength overall. These types of reps are very heavy reps, okay? So they're generally going to be exhausting your central nervous system, exhausting your body more. You're risking injury in these rep ranges more because you're working near maximal capacity, right? Especially on something like a 1 rep max attempt or something like that. So in reality, a 6 rep and under, we're training the strength, all right? I'm going to break down each rep range for you, and then we'll go into specifics how you know how to find the weights, all right? So then we're looking at something that's like a 6 to a 10 rep range, okay? So 6 to 10, so we're talking about your 8s, your 9s, your 10. Most people are doing 8 to 10 reps, right? They're doing an 8 rep or a 10 rep. Not a lot of people are doing a 7 or whatever, a 9. It's kind of random. But the point is, anything within that realm, this is more your hypertrophy zone, all right? So this is where we actually build muscle, right? In the hypertrophy zones of the 8 to the 10s and so on and so forth, we're building muscle in this zone. This is specifically taxing muscle fibers, more of a bodybuilding type of a training rep range where now you're going to grow muscle fibers, you're going to build new tissues. This is how you pack on different amounts of mass, different amounts of structure. This is how you tone your physiques. You do all these types of things, right? In this rep range, we're going to be putting on the muscle mass. This is the hypertrophy zone for this. Not that ideal for strength, because if you're lifting in that high of a rep range, it's likely you're not actually getting stronger in that rep range, okay? But you are building muscle because this is the hypertrophy zone, okay? So then we're looking at 10 and above. So we're looking at, your 12s, your 15s. You realistically shouldn't be going higher than that, but if you are, whatever. Point is, anything above this, 12 and up, this is what we call our endurance type rep range, okay? So this is actually working on the muscular endurance of the muscle. This is more of a cardiovascular type rep range because basically you're putting the body under a lot of load for a longer period of time, right? If you're doing like, let's say a 3 rep attempt, you're gonna be lifting for just a few seconds compared to maybe a 12, a 15, where we're under there for 30, 40, 50 seconds sometimes doing different amounts of weights and whatnot. So this is your endurance. These weights are generally much lighter. They're not actually building your strength. They're not actually building your muscle. They're training an endurance factor, getting the cardio rate up. It's more of a good way to, help burn fat while you're actually lifting than it is build muscle or build strength, okay? So what about this now? We have these 3 different rep ranges. We got 6 and below. We got this kind of 8 to 10 realm. We got 12 and up. And so with this, we have our 3 most common zones and what they're training. Lower ranges, again, 6 below, we're doing strength. In the middle ranges, we're doing hypertrophy, which means muscle growth. And anything 12 and up, we're doing endurance type training, more cardiovascular work with these actual exercises, okay? Now, what you need to understand is you don't want to ever do a program that only has one of these, right? Like a lot of people that are power lifters or strongmen or things like that spend a lot of time lifting very, very heavy, right? Which is great. You got to do that if you're in that sport. But you got to also have the benefit of the muscle building. And you probably need some of the cardiovascular stuff too. So you should probably be training in all these rep ranges throughout your training cycles, throughout your training programs, throughout the year, whatever, your mesocycles, the times that you're going to be doing different programs and whatnot. A lot of times, it's good to have all that in one program, okay? Same goes for you competitors out there. You competitors, you got to get strong enough that you can lift heavy enough to build good muscle, and then you got to be able to burn and lean out and get the cardio right, get the endurance right, so you can get stage conditioning, right? Same for you fat lossers out there, the weight loss, the lifestyle clients that want to lean out, right? You got to be able to do all these things because, again, if you go to the gym and you try to lift in the 8 to 10 rep range, but you don't have any strength, you're not going to be doing enough load to actually build any muscle. And if you don't build any muscle, you're hindering your fat loss. So you know what you got to do? You got to have the blend of all 3 again. You need to be able to get stronger. You need to be able to build muscle. And you got to be able to burn with this hypertrophy endurance zone, okay? Same for everybody, build muscle. Any type of goal, realistically, even if you're a sports performance athlete, you got to have the benefits of all these rep ranges in order to get the maximal result and get the best result, get the fastest result, and the most long-term result, okay? What happens is, a common error is people focus on one area for so long and they lose the ability ability to do the other ones well at all, which is just a detriment to the physique. For example, a lot of people train in, the 12, 15 reps. A lot of bodybuilders do this thinking they're building a ton of muscle, but they never go touch any heavy weights. So they're actually not building the strength. They're training so light that, yeah, they look good for a while, but over time they start to lose size, they start to diminish. This is the same thing that happens to bikini competitors, figure competitors, women's divisions too. This kind of stuff happens where you focus on these middle ranges or the high ranges too much, not enough down here. You don't actually get stronger, so you can't build new mass, and you can't bring that to stage. Same thing goes for all types of goals, all types of people. If you don't have all three of these, at least in some form in your training plan throughout time, you're going to have some issues that come up. You're going to have some deficiencies, some strength problems, etc. Okay? And so that's super important. Absolutely needs to be structured. I like to do this in many different workouts. I might have my clients do this over a span of a month or 3 months or something like that, where we're alternating, trying different rep ranges. I might have you do it in the same workout. It's all dependent on the goal. It's all dependent on the person. It's all custom built, right? Like, that's what I just said a little bit ago. It's got to be custom for you, and this is the same thing. I practice what I preach, in other words, right? And so with that, you should go to TeamFFLEX.com and try the free trial so I can show you, me or one of my awesome coaches can show you exactly what I'm talking about with these rep ranges, okay? But regardless, when we're looking at this, how do you break down the weights now? How do you know what weights to do? And this, in reality, is the question that started the video, but I want to cover all these rep ranges so you really understood the purpose, because that is important for knowing why you're doing whichever, right? Because like, if I set you with a 12 rep range and you're hitting 10 and you think you're good, you're actually not training in the actual area that you should be training. Same goes for each one. So you have to know why you need to do each one, and then now how to select your weight, okay? Again, I told you, coaches can't do this for you. If you have a coach that's telling you they're gonna pick your weights for you, that to me sounds like a red flag. That sounds like some sort of scam, some sort of bullshit, because I don't know what they're comparing it to. Every single person's different, and the only person that knows their true strength is you. You can't really predict what anyone else is going to do, no matter what tests or what metrics or whatever you want to run. You can't really predict what someone's capable of. They know internally. So selecting your own weight is always going to be better than, like, if I said, hey, you should be deadlifting 135 right now instead of 115. Well, if you can't do it, and you know you can't do it, it's not going to be fucking relevant if I tell you that you should be doing it. What needs to happen is you need to train it in the realm and figure out within your own body, which might take a little time, keep in mind, what weights you need to be hitting, okay? And so with that, here's how you figure out your weights that you need to be using on any exercise, any rep range. First things first, you must track. You must keep track of the weights that you're using on every single workout, every single set, every single rep that you're doing. And this is important because you got to see the progression. You are never going to organically be able to progress. The amount of exercises you will do, the sets, the reps, everything, if you don't keep track, you're going to only be guessing, and you're always going to be watering it down. You're going to be losing track of what you did. You'll be like, did I do 115 on rows last week, or what did I don't know, whatever, I'll try today. And in reality, that's not training for a specific goal. You're basically just working out. You're kind of wasting your damn time, because you need to be overloading. You need to be hitting your target reps, and you need to be increasing these things over time, right? So first things you got to do is track. And this is why I use TeamFFLEX app to coach all of our clients. All of our TeamFFLEX clients use the coaching app, because you can punch your weights in. You can punch your sets and reps in. It literally reminds you. Every time you log in and repeat that workout, it says, hey, last time you did this weight. And then you can do that same weight. You can increase if you feel good, so on and so forth. It keeps track for you. You don't have to use an app. I recommend it. I already told you to do the trial. You should do the trial. But also, if you're just going to jot it on a notebook, whatever, who cares? Make sure that you are keeping track of your weights. If you're not keeping track of your weights, you're basically wasting your time. Honestly, you might as well sit on your fucking ass at home, okay? So track your weights, number one thing. How do you find the weight to use now? Here's how it goes for every rep range. Ready? Pay attention, and this is gonna hopefully open a whole fucking new world of possibilities for you when you understand this. If it's a 6 rep, if it's an 8, if it's a 10, if it's a 12, if it's a 15, if it's any number in between, here's how you figure it out. You take whatever the rep is you are supposed to hit. Let's say for this example, 8. Let's say you had 4 sets of 8 reps on a specific exercise, shoulder press, something like that. Okay? You need to hit 8 reps. The goal is to hit that 8 reps and either have achieved muscular fatigue to the point where you couldn't do another rep, or form breakdown, basically mechanical breakdown, where your form started to get off, not to the point where you're going to get injured or anything like that, but your form is getting a little iffy. Maybe you started to cheat the movement, you rocked it, you jerked it, you twisted it, you did something different where the form wasn't prime. That is the goal. You need to hit that on that 8 reps. So you either need to achieve mechanical failure or muscular fatigue on rep 8, okay? So you might say, well, how do I figure out the weight for that? Basically just like this. Try different weights, and here's what happens. Bring it to that maximal level no matter what. Make sure that even if you have to go above, you hit mechanical failure or muscular fatigue. And here's how you figure out what weight you need to use. If the target rep is 8, for example, in our example here on shoulder press, and you could get to 10, you could get above 8 in any regard. You got 9, you got 12, you got any level above that 8 rep, which was the target, the weight is too light, right? Anything above that 8, if you're pushing it and you can get more, it's too light. You're not hitting the 8. You're not failing on the 8. You're not reaching fatigue on the 8. So it's too light. You need to increase your weight and try again. Try to fail on the 8. Alternatively, what happens is a lot of people go too heavy. They overestimate what they can do. And if you're getting to the point where you're supposed to be hitting this 8 rep and you're only getting 6, you're only getting 7, you're failing on 6, you're failing on 7, you can't lift another rep or your form breaks down, you're lifting too damn heavy. Now it's time to lighten the weight up and try to hit that 8. You don't want to ever not be hitting that damn 8. If that's the goal, if that's the target rep, you might have to play with a couple different weights, but once you find it, then you can track it. And when you track it, you can repeat it. And when you repeat it, eventually, you can get stronger. So when you are doing this 8 rep range, let's say for a few weeks, let's say you're doing shoulder press with 40-pound dumbbells, and you're on 8 and you're failing every time, you're in perfect zone, one day you could push it further and you do 10 reps with the 40 pounds. Guess what happens? Time to move up in damn weight and do 45s for 8 now, right? So the way that you find your target weight, no matter what, is by figuring out what the rep range is and then making sure you're achieving muscular failure. Literally, you couldn't do another rep if you don't know what that feels like, you're not training hard enough, or mechanical breakdown to where your form is becoming either, you know, it's seriously breaking down, you're rocking, you're cheating, you're just not in an optimal spot, or you're slightly off, you couldn't get a rep without cheating it in some way or another. Those are the 2 ways that you know if you hit that target rep or not. So, that's exactly how you find those reps, fam. That's exactly how you know where to train. If it's 6 and you get 4, it's too heavy. If it's 6 and you get 8, it's too light. You gotta go with the goal and you gotta adjust. So how do you know where you're gonna go? It's gonna be experimentation for a while. If you introduce a new lift or new program, or you're just getting used to it, maybe you didn't follow something specific, maybe you haven't been tracking like I said, guess what? You got a trial and error period where you're gonna figure this shit out. You might have 4 sets of 3 on, 4 sets of 6 or something, or 8 on a Monday, and now you're going to the gym and 2 of those sets was figuring out what weight it was, okay? In that sense, you should probably do a couple more actual sets with the actual weight that you discovered. It might take you a few sessions, it might take you a few sets, it might take you a couple weeks to figure out what weight you need to be doing. But if you're tracking it, if you're paying attention, you're going to be able to figure this out very quickly. And so what matters most all the time in bodybuilding, period, and all of you are bodybuilding. If you're lifting weights, you're bodybuilding. Bikini competitors, you're bodybuilding. Those of you that want to lose weight, you're bodybuilding. Those of you that want to build muscle, you're bodybuilding. Those of you that want to look better for the beach, you're bodybuilding. We're all bodybuilding if we're lifting weights in a gym, trying to attain a look. And so with that, we are always constantly trying to up the weight that we are lifting, okay? And ladies, this is not going to make you bulky. That's all bullshit. But it will make sure that you get stronger. It will make sure that you build the muscle you like and add the shape to your physiques. It will help you burn body fat. It will make sure your bone density and all that is good as you age. It's going to do a lot of great things for you. But you got to be progressively overloading over time. In other words, just because you found what the 4 sets of 8 reps was this week on the shoulder press does not mean in 2 months that weight should be the same. That weight should have climbed up if you are training correctly, right? Because if we're in this phase where we're training the hypertrophy and we're training the strength and we're training the endurance, our bodies should always be improving. Our muscular strength should be improving. Our muscular hypertrophy should be improving. Our muscular endurance should be improving. And over time, we're getting better and better, which means the weights are going to climb higher and higher. We're going to be able to get stronger, maintain better form, build better muscle, and get better cardiovascular endurance and everything else on top of it, okay? So in reality, this is exactly how you figure out what weights you need to lift. Don't ask your coach. Don't fucking ask me. Don't ask anybody what weight you need to be lifting, because only you will know when you do this actual trial and error test. If you do have a trainer in the gym, or you do have a coach like me or something like that, they can actually see what's going on with you, then maybe they can suggest things, but the best way to do it by far all the time is you know yourself better than anyone, because you are living within your body. You feel everything you feel. You know when you're cheating the lift. You know when it's feeling too hard. You know when it's too light. And that way, when you're training this way and you break it down and you figure out each and every rep you should be doing, you're tracking and you're progressing, you simply will get better results doing this than if you follow some suggestion on the internet, you follow some suggestion from a coach, you follow some suggestion period. Basically what you're doing at that point is you're tuning out. You're tuning out the part of this that actually matters, which is your cognitive mind thinking about what you're doing and progressively realizing the goal that you're trying to achieve. Alright, so that's super important. This is the best way I suggested. Hopefully today I broke this down for you in a way that makes sense. You got a better idea about the sets and the reps and how to find your weights. If you got questions on this, I'm always available for you. And if you want me or one of my awesome coaches to lay this out for you and show you exactly what we're talking about, put you through the damn ringer and show you how you need to be training, go to TeamFFLEX.com right now, subscribe to our trial, and one of us will help get you set up for the absolute idea of how you need to be training these different rep ranges for your goals to get the results you want. And it will work, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you, after training thousands and thousands of people, I know one damn thing to be true. This stuff does work, alright? So if you don't pay attention to these things, you're going to always have a default, you're always going to have a flaw, you're going to have some area that's breaking down on you. And this is how you get injured, this is how you don't get the best result, this is how you end up rebounding, this is how you have a hard time achieving your goals. So taking control, taking action, and moving forward on these things, that's how you can make sure that you do get results, you keep results, and you stay injury-free. This is the Iron Palace. I'm Ryan Milton. Every single Tuesday, I'll be right here breaking this stuff down for you about how you can build a palace out of your gains. Please make sure you share it. Please make sure you subscribe. And I'll be right back here next Tuesday to see you again. Coach Rye is out.